Okay, USMNT transfer notes. LD, can you count to 10 in German?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's going to be like 3 times that for your guy, Malik Tillman. Is that what he's going for? Did they say 30 million, 40 million, 50 million?
Euros,
40 million?
Yeah, 35 to 40 million euros total package to Bayer Leverkusen. Brilliant. I love the move. I love it.
You do. You like it.
Yeah.
Honest question, will he play enough there? Florian Wirtz leaves, so it seems.
Yeah, I think he needs. Yeah, I think he'll play enough. I think they're bringing him. I mean, it's a big club. You've been there, right? You signed with Leverkusen when you were younger. It's a big club. It's managed really well. Obviously, with the new manager, Xabi Alonso left to go to Real Madrid. Ten Hag comes in, but when that happens and you get a big player who leaves, not that it's a like for like replacement, but this. Ten Hag would have come in and the sporting directors would have come in and said, like, they've targeted players.
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah.
Right? And so Tillman clearly, he didn't just fall off the back of a truck, right? They're like, we need, let's go get this kid. So I like that, which tells me he'll get opportunities. And does he have to play 90 minutes every week? No. But I think he needs to be playing often. And I think he will. Yeah.
That's my only concern with any of these things. Like, as long as he's playing, it's great. And it is a phenomenal club, man. Like, really well run. Obviously, what Xabi Alonso's done has really elevated them. Champions League, whatever. So, I'm excited for him. Having watched him closely now this tournament, Tim, there are a lot of good players at Leverkusen and in world soccer, but man, he's a good player.
He is.
Like, he's really good player. So I think it's gonna be great.
Yep.
Tim Weah. So this was a weird one. I actually haven't gotten your opinion on this yet, really. So Forest had submitted and agreed an offer with Juventus, right? And Timothy Weah then rejected the contract proposal.
Sure.
So for people who don't know how it works, the clubs have to agree on a price for the player, and then the player has to agree on his personal terms. And if neither of those happen, then it's not happening. So what do you think happened here? There could be a lot of things, but what do you think happened?
Yeah, kind of a cold take because I don't know the ins and outs of it. You rightfully explained it. The player has to agree personal terms, financial terms with the club, and if they didn't meet that, what I would say is, the Premier League is arguably the best paying league in the world, right? They don't. Oftentimes, your transfer fee or your agreement is going to match your wage, your weekly wage.
It's going to be commensurate.
Yeah. And so, if he says they didn't meet his personal valuation, then that's fair. I think it's an interesting one. It would tell me two things: either he's comfortable with his situation, comfortable in a good way with his situation at Juventus, or that he has other irons in the fire. Because I don't think
better.
Yeah, I don't think you become out of favor and don't like your situation at Juventus and then turn down an opportunity to go to Nottingham Forest. So I would guess we'll see some other sort of movement with him, or he'll stay put and do the business at Juventus this year. So that it's an interesting one. I didn't think he'd turn it down, but again, I don't have that inside knowledge.
Yeah, I appreciate that someone wouldn't just jump at going to Forest or a Premier League team no matter what.
Sure.
Like, I really appreciate that, because I've said this a lot. Like, people get enamored by it and they're like, oh my God, it's this club, or I have to go. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to, right? I know it's exciting. I know it's enticing, but I just hope that there is, like you, that I hope there's something, again, same thing, just somewhere where he's going to play. Yeah. Leading up to the World Cup, the most important thing.
Well, people get enamored with moves because the move is so much better than what their current situation, right? And so this doesn't seem to be the case.
In theory, it is. In theory,
yeah.
Right. Well, if he's sitting. I mean, Gio Reyna went to Forest, and everyone was like, "Great, this is," and then he never played.
Yeah. No.
Right. So you just and you never. There's no guarantee you're going to play anywhere, but you have to go somewhere where you're like definitely wanted. Coach wants you.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of competition in that spot for you, et cetera, right? So, okay, Matt Turner.
Yes.
Man, this was bizarre.
Oof. Well, go ahead.
Well, just to paint the picture for people, and then I want to hear your thoughts. So a few weeks back, we hear that Olympique Lyon are interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to pay €1 million to Forest for him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets agreed. Everyone's thinking it's great. Lyon's number one is going to move on. And so it's going to be Matt Turner's job to lose. And we're all like, great, this is what he needed. And then we get this bombshell that all of a sudden Olympique Lyon, due to financial issues, have been relegated to the second division in France. And so it's just a bizarre turn of events. And also in the meanwhile, we saw this morning, Michelle Kang, who owns the women's team for Olympique Lyon, has now become the president of all of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dynamics there. What do you think happens? Do you think he stays? Is it okay for him to be playing second division? Is that good enough?
Yeah, this is complex. So a couple of layers. The surface layer is they were relegated because of financial issues.
Yeah, I think they had like 500 million euros in debt or something. It was something crazy.
I have a feeling those financial issues might go away. Okay, you can read that how you want. I have a feeling they'll be playing in the first division. There.
Do you?
Yes, I do. But anyway,
okay.
This doesn't work out for Matt. Here's why. And again, you talked about Gio Reyna going to Forest, Timothy Weah going to Forest. Matt Turner makes a very good wage. Okay. If Lyon stay in the French second division, they won't be able to pay that wage. Okay. So he more than likely isn't going to accept that, right? Because he will have offers other places, and he's not going to go to the French second division and make a ton less money, right? Because
the deal's done, right?
Yeah, but the deal is done with the club, but there will obviously be termination to that if they're in the second they're in the second division. Okay. The only problem is, and we saw this last year with Matt Turner. Again, Matt Turner, he's a good goalkeeper, and people want him. That's the upside. The problem is Forest haven't really played ball. There was a deal on the table with a German club last year. I think it was Werder Bremen, but I could be wrong in that. Where he was going to go be the number one, right? Forest dragged their feet. It didn't happen. He ended up having to go to Palace as the number two, right? And so this deal's done, and that's brilliant with Lyon. If he has to go back to Forest, it's not a guarantee that he then moves on to the place he wants to be. Because last year he wanted to be in the German Bundesliga playing top division football. He then had to go to Palace as a second choice goalkeeper. So hopefully Lyon sort themselves out and whatever legal issues they have, and they get themselves back in the first division for all the Americans.
Is there a scenario where he says, I'm just going to make up a number. I don't know what he makes. Where let's use $1 million, a round number. He makes $1 million now from Forest. Yeah. And at Lyon, let's just say in his contract, because people don't understand sometimes is players have relegation clauses in their contract where if you get relegated, sometimes you can get released and you're free. Or sometimes if you get relegated, your wage drops 50%. Yeah. So let's say it dropped 50% just for this example. Yeah. Is there a scenario where he goes there because it's the only option he has to actually play and plays for half of his salary, but has a chance to play ahead of the World Cup? Would you? You like money too much.
You should. I would say no. Here's why. Because he's in a tricky situation. He's got to juggle a couple different things, right? Like no one really has a grip of the U.S. #1 shirt, right? So that's a good thing,
right,
for him, because then he can bide his time a little bit. I would probably, ultimately what I would do if I were him, and this goes completely pear-shaped, I would go back to Forest. I'd rot in the reserves for 6 months, and then I would desperately make a move
in January.
In January, even if that's a loan or something, where you get your money and you get a starting position, because then you're hopefully in the ascendancy leading into the World Cup. It's not a great situation, by the way, if he goes back to Forest. Full stop.
Right.
So again, that's why it's fingers crossed for Lyon.
this is going to be a really interesting one to follow because I don't remember anything ever happening like this with one of our players, with especially all the other stuff going on in the national team and all that. Okay, last one with the transfer stuff. So Johnny Cardoso, this is a really interesting one, Tim. So he came into these friendlies. We don't know a ton about him, right? He grew up in Brazil a little bit. He's been in Spain for a long time, and people just don't know a lot, including me, don't know a lot about him. Comes into camp, and you assume that this guy who's on the verge now of going to Atletico Madrid, it's a big club.
Yeah, it's a huge club.
Big club, right? Third or fourth best club in Spain. So the rumor is that he's going for 30 million euros. And I cannot figure this out. And this is a question for Pochettino. Like, how does that guy who's going to play for Atletico Madrid not get into this, whatever, B minus C team for the US? How is that possible? I can't figure it out. I mean, he's kind of just fallen off the map during this tournament too. He was sick before one game, and then we just haven't heard anything. I don't even know if he dressed yesterday. He's had like an ankle injury.
It's quite a surprise. I mean, I think if you're another country, if you're Brazil or France or Argentina or England, you're like, okay, whatever. You guys have so much talent. But when a U.S. player goes to Atletico Madrid, and doesn't play for, what we classify as an understrength U.S. team, then you're starting to ask questions like, what's actually going on? I agree with that. I don't know the answer though.
No, I know. I can't figure this. Like, this is just it's a bizarre one. And look, I don't know him at all. You just think like a guy who's had that kind of season, if he goes to Atletico Madrid and he's playing every week, like we need guys like that.
Well,
right? I mean, we need guys like
playing
that.
every week. 30 million is a big number.
It's a big number. It's a big number in Spain. I mean, it's a big number in England even still, but like in Spain, it's a huge number. Yeah. So, all right, it's going to be interesting to follow him because it's just a little bit of a bizarre one, and again, people don't really know him that well.